Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Valerie Mills. Thanks for logging on to My Fox Hurricane, where we are watching Hurricane Erin closely as this has continued to strengthen from Friday into Saturday morning. You see that more defined eye wall as it's moved away from the Saharan dust. Less wind shear for this to encounter, so it has gotten much more organized through Saturday morning, but it is still to the north of the Caribbean islands. You see the outer rain bands impacting areas just outside Puerto Rico through the northern Leeward Islands, where we do have some advisories up. Flood advisories for Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and tropical storm watches include the northern Leeward Islands. As we are going to continue to watch this move just to the north of these areas through the weekend, but as a strong hurricane. This has rapidly intensified. We had 130-mile-per-hour winds early Saturday morning. Then in the 8 o'clock advisory, up to 145-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and hurricane hunters flying in this storm have found even some stronger wind gusts. There has been some wobbling of where the storm's center is, but we are starting to see that motion more to the west-northwest, and it's still moving at a quick pace, about 20 miles per hour. And we have been watching the pressure fall now at 935 millibars. And when we're talking about pressure dropping in a storm, those are signs that it is a strengthening storm. And as we look at the latest track map, there is still the forecast for this to continue with winds up to 150 miles per hour as we get into early Sunday morning, as it makes a pass just to the north of Puerto Rico. And then we start to see that curve more to the north. It is going to pass off Florida's east coast by the early and middle part of this upcoming week, likely still with 125-mile-per-hour winds as a major Category 3 hurricane. But there is good model consensus with this staying to the west of the Bahamas and moving right between the Bahamas and Bermuda. This will make a close pass at Bermuda as we get to the end of the week. By then, it is forecast to weaken slightly down to a Category 2 strength. But you see the model consensus in pretty good agreement here, as this is going to be riding up and around this ridge of high pressure, and it's found a weakness in this high to allow for that curve more to the north, and then turning out to sea as we get to the end of this upcoming week. So our biggest impact is going to be the large swells, the dangerous surf and rip currents that will spread all up and down the East Coast through next week. We're looking at the potential for some wave heights to be around 10 feet as we get to Wednesday, especially around Daytona Beach and areas further north in the state, and that just continues to spread all up the Atlantic coast through most of next week. But on the backside of this hurricane, we will start to see some of that drier air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere that gets pulled in up and around that system, and we actually will start to deal with some drier weather with fewer thunderstorms in the mix for us here around the state of Florida come the middle of this upcoming week. Otherwise, we're watching one other area, a low chance of development just off the coast of North Carolina. We'll keep tabs on that with more updates to come right here on My Fox Hurricane.